E6 Shy City and around the world. Welcome. Welcome to another episode of Chicago's Elections Podcast. And today we have Ashlyn Bradshaw. We affectionately call her Nikki. How you doing, Nikki?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. What's up, Rodney?
Oh man, hard at work, hard at work. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Tell the world a little bit about your background, where you were raised, how you were raised, things of that nature.
All right. So, even though I'm of course, in Chicago,
Mhm.
but I am a DSGG, a down South Georgia girl. So I am from Georgia, born in Athens,
Mm.
raised in Augusta, educated in Macon, did a little partying in Atlanta. Um, I I'm a Georgia girl. Uh I was, born to my parents.
Mhm.
Uh and I have an older sister. So, my upbringing growing up was really a middle class suburban
Mhm.
black household,
Yeah.
you know. I don't have a story growing up of struggle.
Mhm.
And that's something that I'm really thankful for. I am grateful for it, especially when I hear other people's story.
Mhm.
And it's something that I can definitely empathize with, but it is also uh, a story that I'm not able to relate to, because, thankfully for me growing up, my parents made sure that my sister and I, that we had what we needed,
Mhm.
some of the things that we wanted.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
and that's what it was, and we had a dog, you know, we had a dog. So
Yes.
that was pretty much like life growing up. And my parents, going throughout as growing up, we had like family vacations.
Mm.
So we had that. So, a part of me that I have a love of travel. And I really thank my parents for that. More so my dad, because my dad is former military, he's seen the world and he planted that seed early that it's a great big world out there. Like, go see it. And he and my mom, they made it a practice to make sure that my sister and I that we saw outside of Augusta, that we went to places, and we got to experience things. So those are some things that, growing up. I mean, if you want to know something like a little deeper, like, let me know.
No, that's really dope though, and I don't think one should ever apologize for growing up in a healthy situation, right? A good situation because struggle don't always feel so good. You know what
No,
I mean?
no,
Yeah,
no, it's
yeah.
not.
So tell the world a little bit about some of the schools that you went to.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. So high school course, that's in Augusta, Georgia, in Richmond County public schools. And then from there, I went to college after I graduated. So graduated in May, and I was in college in August of that year.
Hmm.
So for college, I went to Westland College in Macon, Georgia, which is a PWI. It is the college that is the first college that is able to grant degrees to women
Hmm.
in 1836. So, a little history for y'all.
I
But
bet.
it was not my first choice.
Okay.
My first choice, I wanted to go to Howard. Then I realized, oh, that's too far. I wanted to go to UGA. When you visited, then I realized, oh, this is too big. And I felt I was going to get lost in it. Then I wanted to go to Clark Atlanta because they had a really good mass comm program. But they did not send in, or they did not give like my financial aid, did not send it, to us in time. So ultimately my decision came down to Valdosta State, and Wesleyan College, and Wesleyan gave me the most money.
Uh,
So that's where I went. And I met some amazing women. You know, it's all women's school. But I met some amazing ladies, just friends that I have for life. Like we have an active group chat now. And I would have never met them. And I also would never have experienced the diversity that Wesleyan gave me.
okay.
Because I did growing up, my friends looked like me. We all came from middle class Black suburbia
Mm,
2-parent households. That's what I knew. That was my circle, my friends. We all looked the same. And it wasn't until I got to college that I was able to see that, oh, everyone's not like you. And
right.
everybody can grow up like you. And everyone doesn't have the same parents and the same background and home training as you.
Mm,
So it taught me a lot, again, an experience. I mean, I'm so glad that I had. And then from there, I went to go, after I graduated from college, I went to work and I decided, okay, well, let me go ahead and get my MBA.
okay.
Got my MBA. And then later on, of course, just working. And then I got my DEI certificate. I got that from Cornell. I got my MBA from Strayer. And then I am in my last class right now of obtaining my cybersecurity certificate from the North Carolina A&T State University, Aggie Pride. So yeah.
Yes. Big ups, Ashlyn. Big up. You're out here killing the game. And they're
Sean.
about to find out. The people are about to find out. Ashley, let me ask you, what are your values?
Oh man, good question. You know, some of the things that really, and it goes to just a lot of my upbringing. But the things about me is, well, one, I can take it back to just being in church and understanding like what your gifts are or what your spiritual gifts are. And for me, my spiritual, I have the gift of health, I have the gift of mercy, I have the gift of faith, I have the gift of giving, and the gift of administration. Um, and once I learned that, it really clicked are the things that are inherently me, but then also what my parents instilled in me. And it was always to be a giver and to a helper to those that are in need. And that is something that I practice today. I sometimes practice it even when I don't even know that I'm being helpful. But that carries me even in my profession. I'm in the talent acquisition space. I am helping people. I'm connecting them to their careers or whatever their purpose is. I'm connecting them in that way. I am equipping them with the skills that they need or the skill sets that they need or the understanding of, hey, this is what your skills will allow you to be able to do. So those are some of the things, and that's just really important to me. And, you know, at my core, like I'm a helper, I'm a giver, and it is important to me that everything that I do, if it's personally, if it is professionally, that it lines up with being able to help someone else, being able to nudge someone forward in whatever that may be. That is really like my goal, my mission. Like that's a part of my purpose.
Yeah. Sounds like service is innately who you are.
Yeah, yeah. It's my guiding, it guides my behavior.
Yeah. I love it, man. This is really good. This is really good. And that personality just kills me. That bubbly
It
personality,
like shut up a little bit.
be some of that southern flavor in Chicago. So
Mhm.
let me ask you this.
Okay.
Where'd you get your mindset? Who were some of your earliest influences?
Oh, my mindset again, my parents. Mindset as far as you can do what you want to do, go out and see this world, that came from my dad. My mom too. But my dad was like, let him, you go ahead and tell him. I mean, I can remember growing up, I would gotten off the school bus, and when I got off the school bus, I had my little my lunch box in my hand, and there were like these three little white boys. They were brothers, and they lived like at the bottom of our street. And they were picking, they were kind of picking on me, and one hit me. Now in my mind, I wanted to take this lunchbox and I wanted to whack him upside the head. That's what I wanted to do. But my daddy was in the front yard, like clipping the shrubbery and the hedges. I was like, man, if I hit these juggles, I'm gonna get in trouble. And I'm gonna get in trouble because I don't want to be in trouble with my parents. So I didn't. I walked up in the little driveway. Hey, daddy. Hey. And he like, oh, hey, how's the day? And he came up close. He said, now I saw them little white boys hit you. He
Mm.
said, no, you should have hit him upside the head. He was like, don't ever let someone treat you like that. And that always like rings in the back of my head, even if it's nothing physical, but don't let someone treat you bad. Like stand up for yourself. Even if you think that I'm going to think bad about you or you're not going to get in trouble. He said, you're not going to get in trouble. He said, because he said, I saw it. And that, that just really, that rings true to me. But growing up, my parents are givers. And so I saw that behavior. They modeled that for me. But then for my community involvement, fast forward, I'm an adult. Um, and I'm in Greensboro. And I was actually during this time, I was working at the campaign office during Obama's first term, like helping with the election. And I met this woman named Miss Debbie, and she was deep into the community, working with Girl Scouts, working with the underrepresented populations, especially, Black girls of color that don't have access to Girl Scouts,
Mm.
but they can still get the Girl Scout experience. Um, and I connected with her, and she really opened my eyes to what was greater in the community and where the needs are.
Mm.
And I fell in love with those. I fell in love with those young ladies. Some of them, I still kind of follow. They'll still check in from time to time. And it's great to see the impact that you're able to make just one kid at a time or one young lady at a time, and knowing that they're looking at me.
Yeah.
Um, and that they're noticing because they're coming from communities that unfortunately it's generational poverty. So they didn't see someone like me. They
Mm.
didn't see someone that had graduated high school, that graduated college, that was working a job, but that was also volunteering for free and also did not have children.
Mm.
So they would ask the question, well, Miss Ashlyn, well, how you get money? And I'm like, what? And they're like, well, if you don't have any kids, you don't have like child support, like you don't get food stamps. And I was like, oh, and I just took that opportunity to really impart in them, like, you can be more than that. Like, you don't have to be what you see every day.
A
You
teachable
know,
moment. Teachable.
right. You don't have to see that. And you don't have to become that. Even though it's normal for you, like you can choose a new normal, a new path. And showing them that and then seeing them for a few of them, seeing that they do that. And it's just knowing they come back and they're like, oh, well, I just remember you. You just had your dog and you were working. I was like, I want to be like Miss Ashley when I grow up. And I'm like, wow, and that was just something simple, just me being me, living my life, but being that, model citizen for those young ladies. Um, And then from there, and then I met another lady that's in the Greensboro community, Lisa McMillan. She's deep into making sure that the communities are thriving. Do they have the knowledge of, financial awareness, educational, just equipping them with the skills and the tools that they need to be able to thrive. So that's as far as like community guidance and mentors. Um, they are definitely they're definitely top two professional. My first job out of college, then I had a Black manager. Her name is Janine. And Janine really guided and shaped my career, and she exposed me to other roles within the company. And she gave me some of those skill sets that I needed to be building. And she made sure that I shadowed those roles and she connected me with those people. And so ultimately, for 10 years, I grew my career in the wireless industry. And so those are the things that stick with me. Um, and it's something that I really strive to make sure that I'm at least passing on to other people. So yeah.
So that's what Chicago's Intellectuals podcast is all about, right?
Hmm.
Emancipating us, showing that there's more to us than what you see on
Oh
social
yeah.
media and in the news, right? There are people like you who need and should be illuminated.
Hmm.
So you presently serve as diversity talent acquisition consultant, right? Uh,
Yeah.
what is it like to be a Black woman in that space?
Oh man. It's interesting because I'm in the technical industry. And within that, I am partnering with teams that are hiring technical talent.
Mm,
And unfortunately, a lot of times that talent doesn't look like us.
mm,
Um, and we're not the majority there. So making sure that if I know that it is a person of color, sometimes I know it by looking at your LinkedIn.
mm,
Sometimes I can read context clues on your resume.
mm,
That gives me an idea, if you're Black or not. But then also sometimes if I end up speaking with you, again, that's another clue that will let me know. And if you have the skills, I definitely make sure that I at least make sure that you're amplified. Because I want to see more of us in the space because we deserve to be there. And we have the skills,
yes,
we have the knowledge, and we have the education to be there.
yes,
So instead of us being at the bottom or not being considered, then because I have that ability to be able to pick your application or your profile and have a conversation with you, then I can put you in the game.
yeah,
So that is something that I try to do, and again, making sure that you meet the competencies of the role,
mhm,
which I know that they do. But sometimes for us, for people of color, sometimes, our applications, our profiles aren't always at the top.
mm,
So I do my job
yeah,
in my little corner of the work
yeah.
to
We love
make
you,
sure,
baby. We love you for that, baby. Put me
and
in, coach.
right,
Put
and
me
then
in.
doing that, making sure that we understand how the game is played,
Yeah,
because that's another part too
navigate. Yes.
within that space of not knowing what type of roles are truly available to you and what you can do with your skills and knowledge. But then knowing the flow of it and the process of how you can prepare. And that's one of the things sometimes where people of color, more so Black people, that we fall short in because we don't know.
No, no.
And then the others, they know, so they're already 5 steps ahead of us because they know how the game is going to be played. So for that, I really try to make sure that even during that time, even if you're not going to move forward, hey, here's how you can position yourself. I try
Right.
to drop those little nuggets in there to them.
Because this is a high paying career. This is a pretty high paying career, and it can be very fruitful in terms of the human connections, you know. Um, Fill us in on some of your proudest moments as a diversity talent acquisition consultant. Proudest moments.
So proudest work moments. Um, hmm. Proudest work moments is, of course, getting those getting those candidate profiles that would otherwise not be seen, getting them in front of hiring managers or getting them at least to the first or second round in interviews. I one was truly really proud because I was working with a software engineer and he was Black. Um, and we got to the he went through the interviewing process. I'm prepping him throughout their process. This is how you prepare for the interview. This is what you need to do. This is what they're looking for. This is what you want to demonstrate in your interview. And he passed his first round. He passed his loop. And from there, it's time for him to get his offer and go through the team matching process. And so I'm guiding him what to do, how to engage and talk with the managers. And then it gets down to the offer, and I'm presenting the offer to him. And when I shared those numbers, which they were mid six figures numbers, like coming in, I mean, he was getting 175.
Mm.
Um, and he couldn't believe it. And I like to do offer call when I'm doing like an offer and like going over, I like to do it like on a video call
Mhm.
because it's just super exciting. And I like to see facial expression because that gives me an indication of, you're gonna accept or not. um, so when I shared base salary with him, when I shared bonus potential with him, annual bonus, when I shared equity with him, he didn't even know that he could make this type of money. And
Mm.
it's life-changing money, you know. And to know that I had a hand in that,
Yeah.
now I didn't go in his interview and do coding. That was all him. But, guiding him along the way. Um, and then even, just kind of helping with just how to negotiate an offer because we don't always do that. They do it, but we don't always do it sometimes. And showing him, you know, like giving him clues, like, push back, you
You
know, push
respectfully.
back,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and being able to accept it, and him moving to his role, and it's like, wow, I just never knew that I would be here. Like you just made my wildest dream come true, and that's a why for me. That motivates me to keep going. Like that's proud. The other part of it, most recently we were doing prep calls for university students. So in my role, kind of working with PhD students, making sure that they're prepared for their technical interviews and to be able to interview. So they need to be able to be prepped on that. How to what to expect for your interview, for your coding, for designing, for your behavioral. What do you need to be able to do? So having, over 55 students on a call and I'm guiding you through that. I love it, and that they're engaged and that they're asking questions. And then, even though sometimes talent acquisition can be grueling and sometimes we don't always it's not always favorable. People don't always, always like us. But to know that they're finding value in it, and it keeps you going.
Wow. 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 You got me thinking about myself now.
Right. And
Be
it just
on
goes
me.
back to my why.
You do so much.
why am I doing this?
I
And it
appreciate.
just reaffirms it. Even on days where I'm like, man,
Yes.
and then you get a little message and it's like, okay, I just kind of call them like a little God wink, like, keep pushing, bro, keep pushing.
Yeah, I appreciate the way that you be on me, and we haven't known each other very long, but you're like a sister to me already, and you won't take no for an answer. You need to do X, Y, and Z. Look at this dash. I like that. You know what I mean? Because we don't get that often. You know,
No.
we don't get that often. So, what are you presently working on, Ashley?
Presently working on, I'm in my last class
Mhm.
for my cybersecurity cert, so web security class, which I mean, overall in my course, I have a 3.8, so
There
we
you go.
make A's over here.
There you go.
Right. So, it's winding down. So I am, once I complete that, not sure if I'll like keep it going. They keep asking if I'm going to, like take more classes and maybe turn into like a second master's. I'm not sure yet. But ideally, some of the things I'm working on, a number of things, is if I want to, I'm still in the tech space now, but do I want to move over into cybersecurity? Cybersecurity is a very, very rapidly growing field. It is a field that although they are adopting AI, it's not, is AI is more as a tool, as a support, versus replacement. But then also it's a fast growing field and it's a little bit secure, especially now when we are in the world of AI, where now there's more security that is needed. So cybersecurity will help into that. Um, but then some of the other things that I'm also considering from just a career standpoint is, how long do I really want to stay in the TA space? I do love it. But I'm also thinking of maybe I move on the other side of equipping others with the skills and the knowledge.
Mm.
So I'm thinking about that, of what I'm going to do. And another thing, I'm just kind of like, just in my spare time, like I am really like knee deep in playing out with AI tooling. I'm building out some cyber classes,
Mm.
because I have noticed that people don't even have the basis of what is phishing, you
Right.
know. You got to be able to protect yourself. Don't click on all these links, people. Don't click it.
I learned the
Um,
hard way. I learned the hard
mhm.
way.
Yeah.
With some banking information about 3 years ago.
Yeah, and so these phishing attempts, they are very prevalent and they're getting more and more crafty in how they deploy those. And you really have to have a very vigilant eye. So I've done some like small, like little, little small, like little workshops, but I am working on just kind of like putting together just some fundamentals to be able to share with people. Also working on, because I am like really playing around with a lot of like AI tools. It's really fun. So am I going to maybe create some workshops there? So I am like in the hopper, being able to think about that and creating like workshops of just AI and just AI intro, because what I have noticed is that some of us, that we're afraid of it and we can't be afraid of it.
It's
We
here.
can't.
It's here to stay.
It's here. And the thing about it that it's here is that either you learn to adopt it or you are going to get left behind.
Or even be
That
a victim of it, like you described, right?
you are. And because now, and yes, we're in this new wave, and every time there's a new wave that's coming through, it is going to absorb some of the jobs. I mean, you can think about when the car was invented, you know. Now you don't really need, I mean, you still need downtown, but people don't have to be so close to, the railroad. They can branch out. That's how suburbs were invented, because now they don't have to stay close to the city. So sometimes with these new wave of technologies, yes, it's going to absorb some of the roles. That's just natural. And when you think about it, wave of the car, when the internet came,
Mhm.
we're just altering how we do work. And that's what's happening now with AI. So those that adopt it and just get on board with it, it ain't gonna bite you. It won't.
Mhm.
Then those are going to be the ones that are going to learn how to adapt and be able to work with it because it's going to help you work smarter and it's going to increase efficiency. So I just encourage everyone just really just get on board with AI, like don't be afraid of it.
I've been hearing that from a lot of my professional friends that's in senior leadership positions. Like you have to become innovative and use what you have and
Hmm.
try and
Hmm.
find something that AI can't do completely. And
Hmm.
you adapt AI to that, right?
Right, because what AI can't do is replace you.
Mhm.
Who you are at your core and what you bring to your role, your profession. It can't be you, but then also changing our or reframe our thought process around it, and that we are still the thought leader and
Uh,
that AI is a thought partner.
yeah, you can't allow yourself to be intimidated by it.
No, you can't.
So let me ask you this. Uh, should you choose to revise your career and move over into the AI space permanently, would you still serve as a talent acquisition consultant in that space as well? Or would you just
I,
do something
I
else?
think that I would,
Mhm.
just because it's in me, and then I notice so many people that need help with it, even if it's looking at resumes, even if it is helping them to formulate a strategy. Like those are the fun things about talent acquisition that I really enjoy. Um, and so, yeah, I would still do it.
Look at Nikki. Look at Nikki.
Yeah. Once it's in you, it's in you.
Let me ask you this, Nikki.
Uh-huh.
How important is mentorship?
Very, very. I mean, as I stated previously, mentorship just early in my career. If it weren't for Janine, like I don't know, like would I have grown? I'm sure I would, just my natural ambition. But to have someone that's going to guide, because what the mentor does is they help to open a door, they help you to see what you don't see,
Mm.
and to help you understand what you don't know.
There you go.
And so it is. And then throughout my career, I've been in the rooms with senior leaders and they have, coached me, and I'll tell you, like some of my really, really good mentorships, they've been middle-aged white men.
Mm.
And they don't underestimate them because they will take you in, and you sometimes need those individuals to really serve as that sponsor for you that's going to be able to advocate for you even when someone else may not be considering, they will speak up to you.
Yeah.
And I know that Todd and Richard, Donnie and Russell, that they have spoke up to me. They have made sure that I have had the knowledge. I remember sitting in one of these rooms and listen to a call and they're talking about numbers like, oh well, it was the 20% increase over this, and well, this decreased by this. I'm like, how do you know this? Like, I got to add and subtract like with my numbers. I need to calculate it, and you sprouting off percentages like this? How, sir? And I asked, and then they let me know. They let me know how they do it. They showed me how they gather their numbers and they have their spreadsheets and how they look at it when they're in meetings so it doesn't look obvious. So they showed me that. And that changed the game, in my wireless career. And it's, even something that I do now if I'm, in a meeting. Um, but it's helped to guide, and then, in my TA career, having that mentorship of just knowing, giving you that advice of like what to do, and some of that guidance that you need like in career, like it's valuable. And mentors they don't always have to be someone that's in the boomer generation. Oh, my mentor is 70 years old. There's some people that I think are really mentors to me and they're younger than I am. That's okay. You're teaching me something that I don't know, or you're changing my perspective of something, or giving me a little bit of guidance, or changing my thought process of how I would view something or do something. And that's still mentorship.
Yeah. That's powerful. That's powerful. And you really spark some thought in my brain
Mm-hmm.
because I have three African American mentors, two of which are male and one is female, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but on my dissertation committee is a 74-year-old white lady and a 40-something-year-old Jewish guy.
Mm-hmm.
And on separate occasions, both these people uh, asserted that they needed to get me into a bidding war with publishing companies
Mm-hmm.
when I finished this dissertation, right? They need to get me in a bidding war with Pearson, Oxford Press, and Columbia Press, right? Because that's the potential of my dissertation, right? And it's funny you would say that because I absolutely love and adore my three African American mentors. There's no way that I would be in the position that I'm in today, culturally, spiritually, psychologically. There's just no way that I would be in a position. But, these other people have access to spaces that, you know, my grassroots mentors don't have, right? And I didn't bring that idea to them. They said, you shouldn't be publishing so many journal articles. You should write a book and get your books into schools of social work around the country and maybe even around the world, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so I haven't said that to very many people, but the fact that you brought that up kind of made me think about it because, the air gets a bit thin up here,
Mm-hmm.
and this idea that I have to lose my culture in order to accept guidance from someone outside my culture is a
Yeah.
farce. It's a farce. Now,
Yeah.
I must use my discernment because, everybody don't have good intentions
Yeah.
and
Oh
there's
yeah.
some
Wolf
history
and sheep
associated.
clothing.
Yeah, So it's funny you would say that. I love that you said that because I was
Mhm.
kind of work through some things in my head in real
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's not, it's not bad. And we also, again, especially as Black people, we also have to be accepting of the help as long as, it's in alignment, that it may not come from our own, and it's okay. It's okay. Because, there are some that's their mission,
Yeah.
and sometimes we don't know.
I met a few of them.
Then we're put into their path. And so, again, that's one of those things, hey, you get the discernment and make sure, hey, is this person in alignment with my path? And then no, go for it. And then it helps us to have that diversity, because what that opens up is diversity of thought, diversity of perspective. And it changes, just outlooks of things that, of course, as Black people, that we may see it one way. And then when we engage with someone else that is of different race or ethnicity than us, that, oh wow,
Yeah.
I didn't think about that perspective. and it sheds another light on it. And I think that's so helpful and it's necessary.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to use your whiteness to help me to navigate a space that could change my entire trajectory and my family lineage's
Hmm.
trajectory, then, I welcome that. But to your point, we just have to make sure that they're in alignment with our purpose.
Hmm.
So let me ask you this. What does Ashlyn read? What do you read?
Right. So right now I'm reading The AI Driven Leader.
Hmm.
That's by Jeff Woods. So that's what I'm reading. Um, and then just for fun, I'm reading Harlem Rhapsody by Christopher Murray. So that's kind of like my little fun read. And then I am on YouTube, like really learning about all the different AI tools because for me, every day I make sure I have my 4 daily wins. What's my spiritual win, which means, did I pray? Did I, read my Bible, my devotional? Did I ask God for some guidance on today and thank him for today? That's my spiritual win. I have my mental win, which is, did I learn something new today? Did I make sure that I, challenge or channel my thoughts, writing a journal, those type of things. Then I have my connection win, did I connect with, if it's family or friends, did I connect with someone? Because sometimes we can be so bogged down and get in our own little world that we forget the power of connection. We forget that we need to take a break and we need to laugh and giggle. We need to drop some funny memes in the group chat, whatever that may be. Um, and then did I have my physical win? Did I move my body and close these rings on this watch? Because health is wealth. I have one of my good friends, he's always saying, health is wealth, health is wealth. And it's true. Um, so I'm making sure that I do that. So those are like my 4 daily wins. And that's what I'm reading and watching.
You're like the third person that's mentioned to me the AI driven leader. Like
Really?
like
Same
the
book?
same book.
It's good.
Yeah,
Telling you.
yeah. There are a few people in my circle that's mentioned that to me. What type
Hmm.
of music does Ashley listen to?
Man, a lot. Like I think at one time there was, I don't know if it was a t-shirt or just a saying. It was like, oh, I'm a cross between praise is what I do and nuck if you buck. That's me.
That's that Atlanta stuff. That's that ATL Georgia stuff.
That's me. That's me, because I will. And I mean, sometimes when I'm working, I may have some chill hop on.
Mhm.
Or I may have on smooth jazz. Most time when I leave out the house, I'm
Yeah,
like, oh, let's play smooth jazz. And then that plays. Then I may, get in my ATL music bag. I like the new T.I. song. I listen to a lot. And then of course I will have my gospel music. I'll have my praise and worship. I'm gonna go see Fred Hammond um this weekend. So I love listening to live music. And then even sometimes just exposing myself to different music. If it's folk music,
yeah.
I'll listen to it. Yeah.
Would you do us a favor and give a message to the up and coming diversity talent acquisition professionals and high level IT consultants? Give a
Um,
message to the
with
future.
that, I think it would be to one for those that may be either early in their career and they're trying to figure it out.
Mhm.
Sometimes some people know, in college, there were some of my classmates, they knew, you
Yeah.
know, Ebby knew she wanted to be a pharmacist. Keisha knew
Mm,
she wanted to be a dentist. Beth knew she wanted to be a sociologist, and they are. You know, I didn't quite like once I graduated and then I landed in a role. And I started off in wireless, like wireless sales. I was working with this regional cell phone provider called Suncom Wireless. I eventually got bought out by T-Mobile, and it was selling cell phones in the mall. And I didn't think, I was like, I don't want to do this. But a guy that I knew, man, he was like, Bradshaw, try. I'm telling you. And that was my career, that started my career. That's not, even though that's where I started, my career grew to where I was managing territories, you know,
Mm.
entire, like half of the state of North Carolina. Um, So my career grew into that over the span of 10 years. So don't be afraid to try. Some people know, and that's cool if you know. But if you don't, sometimes you find out along the way, but you're only going to find out if you try.
Yeah.
So I encourage you to try. Um, and do those roles that even though you may like, I don't know, you never know. So try it, and if you try it and you don't like it, then you know that's not for you. But you got to try.
That's the stuff
Uh,
I'm. Right.
yeah, you got to do that. And then for those that are in their careers and maybe they're pivoting, like you can pivot. I've done it. I'm in my second pivot. I'm probably going to go into a third. But you can pivot and you can change, and you don't have to be stuck. You don't have to be stuck in a rut. If you're going to work every day, do something that you enjoy. Um, and that's going to be meaningful for you. What was the other thing I was supposed to say?
Well, I just wanted you to kind of give the suggestions that you've given to the up and coming talent acquisition
Yeah.
specialist
Oh,
out
I
there.
know what it was I was going to add.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then, I mean, of course, for parents, expose your children, even if it's something that you don't understand. Expose them, especially for us, because I noticed that when working with young people, they don't know that these careers exist.
Hmm.
Again, because they see what they see, maybe within that 5 mile radius of where they live.
Yeah,
But expose them, even if you don't understand it as a parent, sign them up anyway.
yeah.
Sign them up. Or if you notice that your child has an interest, maybe they love playing video games. A lot of gamers are very technically inclined.
Mhm.
That could expose them to being an a game designer, animation designer, um, or a software engineer, um, graphics. That's a whole job
Yeah.
that someone does. They can
I
work for
pay one
Nintendo.
at that.
Right. So allow them to do it. Again, even if you don't understand it, because where we sometimes as Black people miss it is that we aren't exposed. So I would say that expose, let them do it. But then also get out there and volunteer and give back into your community in some capacity.
Yeah.
Give back. You got to. You got to.
That's great stuff. Listen, Ashlyn, it's been so wonderful. We love you. We appreciate you and all that you stand for. I want to thank you for taking out the time to spend with me this evening.
Thank
Right?
you for having me, Rodney. I appreciate it.
And for our final section of all of our episodes, I always like to afford our guests an opportunity to tell a story of their choice. The name of this segment is called Big or Small, I Have a Story to Tell. As we close, your time.
What kind of story? Like,
That is your story. Nobody can dictate that.
I told y'all one about the lunchbox.
Mhm.
Um,
Why don't you tell me about the whiz?
the Wiz, going to the Wiz. Then that is something.
Ah,
Like going to any type of show, I will absolutely walk by the box office and I will grab myself a ticket and I will go see a show. Sometimes even if I don't know, I mean I've heard of the Wiz, of course, before. Um, but that was a great, really enjoyed the Wiz. I really, really enjoyed that. I mean, it was good. A few parts of it like, but overall, I mean I loved it. But again, like being in the city, I just learned to be able to go out and explore. I go out there and I do that. I mean, I can tell you like a little story like little Ashlyn. Uh, little Ashlyn won $10 in a dance contest uh with Salt and Pepper Push It.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you know, Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, I won $10. You're looking at it. Oh, I got a good story for. I got a good one. And so growing up. Well, when I was in high school, my first job, I worked at a drugstore. It was called Eckerd Drugs, which is like now like CVS and like Walgreens. But part of my job, as a cashier, and then I would also like order some of the supplies. And since I'm from Augusta, that is home of James Brown, the James Brown. I feel good, James Brown.
I don't know if you know how much Chicago people love James Brown, but continue.
Y'all love James Brown. I'm here for it. I love it.
You got to go to a skating rink in Chicago. You'll see. That's all they play are the
Really?
Big D's, baby. Yes.
Okay,
Continue your
okay,
story.
okay, okay. That's his game ring. Um,
Oh.
but yeah, James Brown would come in and either him or his assistant would come in and those pink old school sponge rollers. That's what he would use those. And I mean they're popular because you got all the other older ladies, they coming in there, my mama included, buying them pink sponge rollers. And I would have to order him like 2 packs. And so they would come in every day on truck day, and then I would set them off to the side, put a little note on there, hey, do not sell. These belong to Mr. James Brown, because you had to call him Mr. Brown. You couldn't just say, oh, hey, James Brown. You had to call him Mr. Brown. Like he insisted. If you said, "Hey, James Brown," it's Mr. It's Mr. You had to call him Mr. But I would set them aside, and sometimes he would come in there and he would buy his rollers, or sometimes he would send like his assistant to come in there. But yeah, you are looking at the one that ordered James Brown's sponge rollers.
Fascinating, fascinating, fascinating. Listen, Ashlyn, it has been wonderful. Thank you so much once again for sitting with us here at Chicago's Intellectuals Podcast. I'll see you really, really soon. For Ashlyn Bradshaw, I am the Kid Rod Allen. This has been another episode of Chicago's Intellectuals Podcast. Until next time, Ashlyn, peace.
Peace.